What is the one feature that plays a major role in almost every successful modern indie game? Exactly, crafting. So how was I able to develop Exocolony for almost half a year and drop 9 devlogs without even touching this part of gameplay? I don't know, but what I know is that this needs to change now. So today I'm going to show you how I added crafting to Exocolony. Besides that, I also made some cool batteries and of course worked on another secret Discord feature voted by the community. As always, if you enjoy these kinds of videos, please subscribe to this channel, drop me a comment and hit the like button. Before I could start implementing the crafting feature, I had to think about how I actually wanted the crafting to work. Since a major part of Exocolony's gameplay is supposed to revolve around automation, I thought it should work without the need for the player to manually start the crafting process. So a building similar to the wood factory or mineral furnace should work fine. The player would put different items onto input pedestals to satisfy a crafting recipe, and then the machine would start the production and put the item on an output pedestal. With the design idea in my head, I went straight into Sprite to start pixeling a building that could act as a crafting factory. While I was doing that, I discovered that I did not like the old pedestal style you can see here on the stone furnace, for example. So I went for another style which looks way better in my opinion, and then I also applied it to the other buildings. I also decided to reduce the amount of pedestals to 4 and then make it visible which pedestals are for item input and item output. Later in development, I want to make it so that the player can decide where exactly these pedestals are placed while building these factories, but for now I'll keep them this way. After I was happy with the design in general, I started animating. My main inspiration for the design was actually the Windows defragmentation icon, since the process of taking several smaller things and then making something new out of it is at least somewhat similar in my opinion. When I was done with the animation, I thought that I could also add some more mineral resources, because then I have more ingredients to make some first prototype crafting recipes. So I added iron, gold and silicon as gatherable resources to the game. After that was done, I finally put the new art into Unity and started programming the actual crafting mechanic. In general, crafting works pretty similar to the furnace or wood factory, but I needed to add some exclusive functionality to make it work like I wanted it to. First of all, I made it so that I can create recipe assets using scriptable objects. In these recipes, I then can set up all the ingredients that are needed for the crafting process, the time it would take, and of course the final item that should pop out of the factory. These recipes can then just be added to the processing controller I wrote. I then added some other functionality. Until now, the player could not stack items of the same type on top of each other, but this was quite necessary for an automated crafting process, so I made stacking items on the ground or on pedestals possible. This now also works for conveyor drones, so they can also stack items and don't have to wait until the target tile is free. Awesome! So, with all these new functionality, let's have a look at a somewhat automated crafting process. First, I had to set up everything correctly and then add a lot of power to all the different systems. By the way, for one of the next devlogs, I plan to add a better build system. At the moment, the player can only build small 1x1 tile buildings by placing it in front of the player. But I want to make it so that the player has a more flexible and enjoyable way to place everything he or she wants. Anyways, let's enjoy this fabulous automated processing line. At the start, I put raw silicon and iron ores on the conveyor belts. Then the drones pick them up and put them into the furnaces. After the furnace step, the next drones in line pick up the refined minerals and put them on their conveyor belts. In the end, the items land on the crafting machine input pedestals, and as soon as the solar panel recipe from before is satisfied, the crafting machine starts the magic process of producing solar panel items. Amazing! How do you like this crafting mechanic? Feel free to drop me a comment in the comment section. Now the crafting is working and I went straight to the next feature. Like I mentioned in the previous devlog, I really wanted to add batteries to the power system. They should work as a power storage, so that when there is excess energy, the batteries could charge up, and then when there's power missing inside the system, they would act as a temporary power source. Sounds easy, but let's see how easy it actually is. Of course, as you could have guessed, I jumped straight into Sprite to start pixeling a neat battery. After some iterations, I was happy with what I got and I started putting it into Unity. The first thing I needed to program was the charging part. I made it so that the power system checks if there's more energy in the system than needed, and if that's the case, the excess energy will be charging all batteries which are currently in the system. As you can see, works like a charm. The more energy in the system, the faster the batteries will charge up to their maximum capacity. The next task was to program it in a way that when the system has not enough energy to power all the power sinks, the batteries will take over. This was a bit more complicated and it took me quite some time to get it working correctly, but in the end I was successful. So here you can see how during the day some solar panels are able to power these lights and also charge the batteries. When it is getting dark, the solar panels stop producing energy, but the lights are still working because the batteries now act as a temporary power source. Of course, the devlog would not be complete without the secret Discord feature, voted by the community over on my Discord server. This time the community had to choose between a water shader, a wooden fence, a coal and wood burning electric generator, and rain/cloud visual effects. And the winner of this week's secret Discord feature is the electric generator. Awesome! This is super cool because I just worked on the power system for the batteries, so this feature fits the general theme of this devlog. So without much surprise, I went once again back into Sprite and started pixeling a generator building. Since the generator is supposed to burn wood or coal, it needs a chimney. And then also some kind of bar which represents how much burnable material is currently inside it. Implementing the generator in Unity was actually quite simple, since it is just a power source with the option to feed it special items. Here you can see the generator in action, charging up some batteries. I'm quite happy with the current state of the power system, because I think these 4 components, solar panels, windmills, batteries and generators, are almost everything the player needs to create a quite diverse and flexible energy landscape. So, do you have any ideas for other power system components that could be added to the game? If so, feel free to drop me a comment. And if you want to vote in the next Discord feature, feel free to join my Discord server. Link is in the description. And that's already it for today's devlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, please hit the like button and consider to subscribing. We will see each other soon for another video on this channel. Until then, have a good time and goodbye.